Hello guys and welcome back to The Sims 4. We're doing another speed build. We're doing another cafe, and of course we're doing it in Del Sol Valley. We're doing it on that Ward Park lot. I love this little lot. I think it's a really fun lot to build on because it reminds me of my college campus and like the green spaces that my college campus had, the cafes that my college campus had, and I just think it's kind of a fun, different place to build because you're in the city, you're in these big kind of high-rise-esque buildings. They're not really high-rises, but they kind of give that vibe because you're down in the little valley here. And I had this idea. I love this Ward Park a lot because I love this idea of it being like a little oasis in the city. And we just built a cafe that was kind of like vaguely retro-shaped, kind of had like this cool, modern, almost, I don't even know what you would call the vibe there. It was kind of an interesting vibe and I really liked it. And I came in today with a completely different vibe. We're going like sweet little cabin in the woods was the idea, and I liked the idea of like almost like a pop-up shop. If you look at the way I built the actual structure, it's meant to look like the cafe part here is like movable, and that it would fold into the building, and the whole like a little top popped out section would fold in was kind of the vibe I was going for, so that at the end of the night it like closes up. It's almost like a food truck but without wheels, and I wanted the actual park bit to feel very like oasis in the city. There's some trees, it's a little bit darker. I kind of closed it in. I made the vibe very much like everything sort of packs up at night. And then there's a secret surprise at the end. It's not really a surprise, you've probably seen it in the thumbnail, but I came up with an idea at the end that I'm really excited to show you, but I'm going to sit on it for just a minute and wait and show you guys when we start building it, because I was really excited it actually turned out. So it's just a teeny little, basically a cottage, and it's just a kitchen. I went ahead and did basically a full kitchen with a microwave because I have it set up as a cafe, and it does work as a cafe. It is functional as a cafe. However, I figured you could maybe do like a micro restaurant or something too with some pretty minor changes. And so I was like, well, if you wanted to do like an outdoor restaurant or something more, I wanted to give you the space to do that. So I ended up building out a full kitchen because that kind of assured me that you would have space to do what you needed to do, because like obviously your, what's the word I'm looking for, like maitre d' stand, that's not quite the right word, but you know what I'm talking about, that could be outside, things like that, and you could still have room for a full kitchen inside. So I did go ahead and furnish out a full kitchen. It's not necessary to my understanding for a cafe, although I do think it lends itself to the vibe, because in that little cabinet thingy that the cafe needs, the thing you're looking at right now with the espresso machine on top, it does have like eclairs and croissants in it, and it's really pretty. And I was like, well, they have to have some place to bake these, right? Like they have to have a place to make their like pain au chocolat and stuff, which now I really want. Oh, that sounds good. I haven't had breakfast yet this morning. It is only 8:30 where I am, which is actually very late for me. I'm usually an up by 5:30 kind of person. I overslept this morning and then went, oh no, I have to record. It's fine. But I overslept in part because I think I'm getting sick, unfortunately. And so I was like, it's okay to get a little bit of extra sleep. But now I'm hungry. I decided to record before breakfast because I was like, I need to just get this done, but now I'm hungry. And we definitely do not have like chocolatey breakfast food in the house. I wonder what we do have. Anyways, this is the kind of thing I was talking about where it looks like it's folded out. I kind of imagined this all like tucking into itself, sliding in, kind of think like motorhome slide out, RV slide out, for those who maybe haven't heard motorhome come out of the mouth of anyone under the age of 70. Everyone calls them RVs now, which is recreational vehicles. When I was growing up, we all called them motorhomes. But I said that the other day, and one of my littler cousins went, "What's a motorhome?" And I was like, "Oh no, I think that's a good sign I'm getting old." But yeah, I liked the idea of this being something that gets set up every day. It gets closed up, especially being in sort of a world that's supposed to look like LA. I was like, it would be smart to have a way to close this up at night. Looking at it now, you know what I should have done is I should have added shutters to the windows. That would have been really cute too. Maybe I'll think about doing that before I upload it. I'm behind on my gallery uploads again, unfortunately, because even though I have internet, and it's fine internet, like 88% of the time, the gallery doesn't always think so. The gallery a lot of times is like, you're offline, and I'm like, I'm definitely not, because I'm watching a YouTube video on the other panel, you know? Which, to be fair, I don't actually watch YouTube on our Wi-Fi very often. I have enough data that I can usually do that on my phone, but the point is the gallery is a little bit stingy about what it wants in the Wi-Fi department. I'm like, you can deal. You're all right. And I went with a little bit more classic cabinets because I was going with like a vaguely cottage vibe. I didn't want it to be cottage core, but I did want it to look like, I wanted it to give off vaguely grandma's kitchen vibes. And that was like the aesthetic of the cafe. It was very much like in grandma's garden kind of thing, like just hanging out, having yummy snacks, drinking your coffee or your tea or whatever it is you want to have, and just enjoying hanging out in grandma's garden here in the middle of downtown Del Sol, you know. Obviously, I really do like how it turned out though. It took me a little while to kind of figure out the layout of the kitchen here, and again, like I said, it's not particularly functional for this build, but it's also nice too if you're playing rags to riches and you are working on a specific skill set. It's nice sometimes to just have lots that have things on them like this. It's just nice sometimes to have lots that are like, but I know there's a full kitchen that I can use here on this lot, you know. Maybe you need to cook a meal for an aspiration. Maybe you need to work on your cooking skill. Maybe you're trying to home chef hustle a little bit and you just need a stove right now. That kind of thing. You have this lot as well. And it's still just a cafe. You can go hang out. You have a reason to be here. Other Sims will congregate here. But you can cook as well. Or that means you could also like host a wedding here. You would need a wedding arch. But you could modify and host a wedding here. Host a birthday. You can make the cake. You can have family events here. You have, obviously, a toilet situation. I just put the, like, toilet blocks down. The, like, what would you call those? The public toilets? The public bathrooms? Yeah, I just put one of those down. Apologies about the chair. Oh, and I got to use these little lights from, I believe it's the, is it Little Campers or Micro Campers? It's gotta be Little Campers kit. Yeah, I think it's the Little Campers kit. That sounds right. I think I knew logically these existed. I don't think I realized these existed. These lights are so cute. They are so adorable. They are fiddly as heck to place. So I only did 4 of them. They are so cute. I love them. I was so happy finding them. And I thought it added something because I was going to use the toddler stuff, the ones on the pole. I think it's the toddler stuff. Is it the toddler stuff or is it back here? No, I think it's toddler stuff. Has the like Edison bulbs on a pole. I love those too. And those would have looked really cute here too. So I think that might be the only thing. No, that's not true. I was going to say that might be the only thing from the Little Campers kit, but I definitely don't think that's true. But if you were to download this and are missing some things, I think most things out of like this kits and specific stuff could get replaced. I feel like you could probably do this build very similarly base game. Oh, here I was thinking, I was having the hardest time with the levels toggler. My brain and it have not been working together lately. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's I've played a different game that toggles like building levels differently. But anyways, what I was trying to do here is I was trying to like get my brain wrapped around how to put skylights in. And I built on that idea pretty quickly for a multitude of reasons. One, it would get really hot in there in real life. And 2, I didn't even want to. It seemed like a lot of work. And this is one of my patented lunch break builds. So I was like, you know what? I don't know if it's worth it to me, to be honest with you. Excuse me, I took a sip of my broth to try to get that frog out of my throat. We'll see how that works. So this was a little bit disappointing because originally what I wanted to do was I wanted to do picnic tables because I thought that made a lot of good sense. And I actually really liked these Batu picnic tables, which I hadn't seen before, but I liked that they were stools. I thought that was very cool, and I'm going to keep that in mind for other builds. But I was really disappointed to find out that they count as tables, but not as dining chairs, which meant I still would have had to put tables out, and I didn't want that many tables. That's the thing. This is a small cafe. I didn't want a ton of tables that weren't going to get used. And then I had this thought briefly of like, is there a dining chair, something that classifies as a dining chair that could look more like just a fun sitting area and I could have like a sit and read nook, but I couldn't find anything that I loved in that way that had like the vibe I wanted. It's hard to describe the vibe that I wanted, but it wasn't quite grandma core, you know, but it was like sit out in the back garden, kind of P&W-ish. So I ended up deciding I was going to go with something different. And I was trying to find a table that still had like picnic table vibes for a while. And then I ended up giving up on that. But I'm actually kind of glad I did because I ended up picking a table, which you'll see here in a minute, that I was able to like do each table differently. And it was really cute and I really liked it and I was really happy about it. And it took a little bit to get there. It took a while to figure out what I wanted because like the vibes sort of changed a little bit over time. This is the table and it is the Little Campers kit. So, and I did every table in a different color. One's like pink and green, one's like green and yellow. I think the other one over there is like a blue to yellow gradient. And then of course the one in the middle there is yellow to purple, which I was so excited to see because I am a husky. At heart, I'm a Husky graduate, so I was very, very excited to see my purple and gold. A little bit of a personal moment there. And then I went ahead and did the matching chairs because I liked the idea of, like, I was still imagining in my head that in the evening times, whoever owns this would still pack everything up at night, right? Like, you wouldn't leave tables and chairs out, especially not in LA. Nothing personal against LA, but let's be real here. And so I was like, well, they'll probably pack them into the kitchen space every night. So I wanted them to look like fold-up tables, and I liked the idea that someone, like, took the time to paint them and make them all pretty like that. Just like a little homespun business kind of thing. And then this table, I decided it would be nice to have sort of like a workspace because it is a cafe. I went ahead and did bar height because I liked the idea of that. I liked maybe it could also be like the place where you stop and like put your junk in your coffee, you know, put your sugar in your milk. And then I decided I picked that one, even though it's a little bit more industrial than what we were doing, because to me it looked like the one that would most likely have wheels and could be wheeled in the evening. So I kind of imagined like hooking your bar stools up on it or stacking them and then just like rolling the whole thing inside. It was kind of the idea there, and I liked that. And then I put obviously candles out, and then I sized up this tree and used it twice, and then I changed the lanterns so that it wasn't quite as repeating because I loved the idea of it being lit by lantern light, and it's really pretty in the evening. And I honestly don't think the screenshots even do it justice, but it is the same tree sized up twice, and it does make this lot very shadowy. But again, that was kind of the goal we were going for. We were going for like hidden gem in the city. We put the bathrooms out here in just a minute. I think I'm picking now. I was trying to decide what vibe I wanted. I think I just went base game, if I recall. No, that's untrue. Yeah, I went with this one because I thought it didn't really match our lot so much. We weren't really going to find something that matched our lot perfectly, but it matched the rest of the city. Like, it was what I imagined city would put down, you know, and I imagined that was there before this. So I was like, well, what would the city put down? City would probably put down that one. So went with that, remembered a trash can and then an outdoor trash can because it was yelling at me for that, and that I think completes all of the requirements. I did put down a couple extra because obviously you wouldn't want someone bringing like paper towels out of the bathroom and walking all the way over to your shop and then throwing them away. So went ahead and put that there. Had to do a little migrating because I realized I placed it off the lot, and then went absolutely nuts with the maiden's hair. Love my maiden's hair. It very much just reminds me of the ground cover from like where I grew up. That and that, I'm gonna say it wrong, it's from Sulani. It's like that Natsuki, I think it is. I'm definitely saying that wrong. That's straight from memory, and that's definitely wrong. That really pretty ground covering from Sulani, whatever it is called. It definitely starts with an N, and there's definitely an S and a U somewhere in there. Anyways, and I went, like I said, really heavy duty with the florals. I stuck pretty much with like four different kinds of plants, I think it is, to keep it cohesive. Sized those up and down as necessary. Didn't go crazy with the flowers. Didn't feel like I needed to go crazy with the flowers because nobody's probably maintaining this to the level of like a home garden or something like that. Oh, I guess there's actually maybe 5 because I did put some grasses in to make it look a little bit overgrown and stuff. Went with a couple of different tones in our greens to do like a very subtle layering look, and I'm pretty happy with how it came out. I'm pretty happy with the vibe here, and it gives it a little bit of privacy. Like I said, it's kind of a hideaway. Here's a second lunch break, you can tell because I constantly have to re-enter the cheat every time I log in for a lunch break build. And this week's been kind of weird because I'm unfortunately on call, which means lunch breaks were oft interrupted. I had to be incident commander this week, which is a fancy way of saying I was in charge, and when things went wrong, that could have come back on me, but I have a really great team, and luckily my job as incident commander most of the time is to figure out who knows what to do and then let them do it, you know. But yeah, we had a scary at work this week, and I'm still on call for another like 4 days, and I'm like, nope, I did my time. It better not, nothing scary better happen again. Oh, the joys of being the on-call engineer. Which, as an aside, if you hear Discord and or Slack go off, that's why I simply am not allowed to mute notifications, because they need to be able to get to me. If you hear my phone go off, just know that I'm having a worse day than you're having. Hopefully not. Hopefully it doesn't go off anymore. And I've been very lucky so far that the last like 2 or 3 times we've had an incident, it's been during work hours, which is great. Anyways, I started putting down paths, and at first I was doing dirt paths, and I was like, this doesn't feel finished enough to me. So I left the dirt paths because I liked the way they looked, and here in a minute I'll start adding some cobblestones, but I left the dirt and I did them very lightly because I liked the idea of them being like walked on so much that they've kind of sunk, you know? Because that's the thing, is with ceramic paint you have to be so kind of careful because it can look really stark. And you don't really want it to look stark, especially with like cobblestones and stuff. Any cobblestone path that I've been a part of, like I've had a property or anything like that, has always slowly but surely sunk into the ground and had this sort of like, I don't even know what you would call it, like a fuzzy effect. Like the stones aren't super well defined, if that makes sense. Some of them are, but some of them are like half sunk into the ground and stuff. So that was kind of what I was going for. And originally I was like, well, maybe I should put some rugs down under these to kind of define the tables a little bit more. But I didn't love the idea of that because how messy would that be, getting mud all over even outdoor rugs. So I ended up, like I said, starting to put this path down, and then I really liked how it worked. It just sort of sprinkled it in there, making it look like everything was set on stones, but that the grass was kind of growing over it and that the mud had kind of sunk the stones in and stuff. And you can see me messing with different kind of lights. I am going to change the lighting color in live mode when I go to actually play with this lot. For the interior, I like the idea of a little bit of a warmer tone there, but while building and for screenshots, I went ahead and left it because it was a little bit brighter. You could see inside a little bit better. I'm going to take another sip of broth. Sipping on my bone broth this morning to try to beat any sort of gross that might be happening. Does anyone else do that where you're like, instead of actually dealing with the problem, I'm just going to like use it as an excuse to have warm beverages and hide inside? I've got to go outside today though. I've got tumbleweeds galore to deal with, and tumbleweeds can actually be quite dangerous because if they butt up against your house and block up like vents and things, it's not so bad in modern homes, although it could still be an absolute problem. But it was very, very bad when the predominant source of heat was fireplaces. And also if you get a bunch of tumbleweeds up against your house and stuff, and they do get to rocking together and cause their own spark, it's very dangerous to basically have a stack of tinder up against your house and fences and stuff. So I gotta go deal with tumbleweeds, which are very mean and pokey, and I don't think I realized that until I moved to the desert. Like, I knew tumbleweeds weren't fun. It wasn't like that I had never seen a tumbleweed, but I'd never had to mess with them with the frequency that I do now. Some of them are really pokey and mean. Anyways, that was a little bit of a tangent. I started putting these little barn lights up because I absolutely love them, and funnily enough, so I love these, and I was literally showing, like, I brought my brother in, like I do, and I was like, look at my pretty build, and I was showing him, I was like, I love these lights, I want to put these lights on the house in real life, and he was like, those would be kind of cool, and I walked out and literally was having a conversation with a different family member, like, 2 hours later, and they, without prompting, went, you know those lights, they kind of look like barn lights, and they kind of swoop, and he, like, drew it out with his hands, and I was like, yes, I do, and he goes, I love those, we should put those on the outbuildings. I was like, yes, I'm gonna win this battle. It wasn't even a battle, everyone's on board. But so I have to figure out when that project's happening, because that would be super cool. I could use a little bit more lighting on my farm. My farm is unfortunately quite dark at night, which isn't bad for hunting stars, but it's a little bit bad when you're being hunted. So I have some bold coyotes. Here I'm just doing a little bit of decorating in the kitchen. If you needed to actually use this and put appliances out and stuff, you could definitely just remove this clutter, but I wanted it to look cute because, like I said, for my purposes, probably not super useful. Used the fish light because I'm in love with this light, and I'm going to use it anywhere I can, and I thought it was kind of cute framed in the little, like when you go up to order your coffee, it's just sort of framed in there cute. There are can lights because you just need actual light. The fish light isn't super bright, but I wanted a cute, like, focal light as well here. And I did put a microwave in for quick meals and things, especially if you are running, like, this as a bakery or something. That way your son can get a snack without it being a problem. No low blood sugars here. Because symptoms with low blood sugars tend to be really hard to manage. So I went ahead and put a rug out here because this is actually, like, a little stone spot here, and I thought it would be kind of nice to have a little rug to stand on here. Although technically there's really no place for you to get out of the rain on this lot unless you're the barista, so really I don't know if that rug helps at all. I guess you could go under a tree. You can go under a tree to get out of the rain. Here's the part that I'm really excited about. It takes a minute, and I left the footage in because I want you guys to be able to, like, think through the process and come up with a better version or a different version. I decided, how cute would it be to have a little library out here, like one of those little neighborhood libraries. And so at first I was going to stick it on the side of the building, and then I realized I hadn't really left myself space to do that. So I was trying to figure out how to put together a bookshelf, maybe a shelf of some description, because I was thinking using the like freestanding bookshelves, the like ones that just look like stacks of books, and then I was trying to figure out what I would put it on. And it definitely takes me a minute. You see me processing through a few different things. And then this was about the point where I went, I really don't know if this is going to work. And so I started looking through these things, and I found somewhere in here, I'm looking for it now on the footage as well. Yeah, there's a few different roofs, and I was like, okay, well, maybe let's start building from the roof down, and the roof will dictate, like, where we're going to do stuff. So I started doing this. Put this cute little roof down, and then I put a shelf in, which you'll see in a minute. I believe it's not the Dream Home Decorator ones, it's the other ones. These are from, I'm trying to remember, are these from high school years? Maybe. I think they're from high school years. And then I went ahead and just found, I was going to do a table at first and lower everything down, and then I stumbled upon a birdhouse that matched. Now, having said that, in my testing, this does work most of the time. Some Sims, I haven't figured out exactly, I think it's when they come from like behind it and stuff, can get like a little bit fiddly about it, but it does work because essentially it's just a floating shelf with a bookshelf on it. You do have to fuss at it a little bit though, but it is functional. And I even like that on the back it has like little hangers and stuff. It looks very homemade. And there's a birdhouse on top, which I thought was a very cute touch. But there's our little lending library, and I was so excited about it. And like I said, I was so excited that Sims can come and get books and buy books. Again, it's another feature that, like, if you're playing rags to riches and you need something, you don't have to buy a bookshelf now. You can come find one. And I was just so pleased with how it turned out. It really brought me, like, weird amounts of joy that I was able to make this work. And now I'm going to put little lending libraries out, I think, on probably most of my commercial lots. Because, like, it just seems like such a sweet thing. I love the idea of a little lending library. I have never lived in a place where there were children or even adults that would utilize this. I lived primarily on a dead end, and now I live out in the boondocks, and so a little lending library simply doesn't make sense where I live, but I've always wanted to do one. If I ever end up in a situation where I own a business in town or something like that, I will 110% be doing a little lending library. But here are the screenshots. I'm going to go ahead and go and just let you hang out and enjoy. This lot should be going up in the gallery soon-ish, but I'm really, really pleased with it, and I hope you guys are really, really pleased with it. I can definitely see myself, like, if this was a place in real life, I'd be hanging out here all the time. This would be where I'd write my great American novel if I knew how to do that. Or at the very least, I would definitely be doing my work from home from here occasionally. But anyways, guys, I hope you're having a great day and you're feeling loved. And if you're not feeling loved, please know that I love you. I'm glad you exist. You make the world a better place just by being you. I'm so glad you came to hang out today. I hope you like the build. The next thing you should be hearing from me is Minecraft, and that should be happening in a couple days. And I hope your February and March holidays went good, because by the time you see this, it should be right around the end of March. Actually, you might be seeing this just before or after Easter. So if you celebrate Easter, or there's a few other holidays around that I am not remembering offhand, I hope you had a great holiday, and I will talk to y'all very, very soon. Okay, love you, bye! Mwah.